I would venture to say, or for the sake of this conversation, that Joe Rogan doesn't have a dog in most of the fights on his podcast. Meaning that if he has a guest that's far right, far left, in the middle, climate alarmist, climate denier, like whatever, he doesn't care as the guest, right?
Right.
He is looking for good content, looking for engaging conversation, looking for intelligent nuance, etc. That, again, that's not the mainstream media. Is they're looking for a very slim narrative. They're looking for someone that wants to say this one thing, and that's why you see the same talking heads. Sorry for the pun. The same talking heads, on the talking circuit, on these shows, on the mainstream media, because Fox News, when they have XY, when they have Rudy Giuliani on the podcast, they know what they're going to get. When you have when you have a commentator on the podcast, or on the show, you know what you're going to get. There's not an X factor of what's this guy going to say. And I
Yeah,
think that's an important piece.
I think no, I think now you're getting there. Is that the type of sponsors they're trying to attract want a more controlled narrative. And I won't say
Right.
the name of the publication. I'll tell you offline. I won't say it online. I reached out to someone to have them on talk about their book, and it's a major news publication, and they said we can't because of um, the people we work for don't let us do interviews on podcast. And I know someone else who works there, and they've told me the same thing. Anyways, and so I was like, that's crazy but here's the thing. If you come on my podcast and we're talking about whatever topic, I can ask you whatever I want, right? There's no one's stopping me here.
Mhm.
There's no man behind the curtain who's gonna pull the club. You would have to leave. It'd look awkward. And so that's, I think, to your point, that's what they don't want. Most of their hosts are not very talented outside of they can talk very clearly, which I can't do. They can here, if you watch them, they all look the same. Tonight at 6, Ben Samuels comes to talk about the Red Sox. Back to you, John.
Well,
And that
so
they're great at that. You bring Brian Stelter on this podcast with me and you, we would embarrass him. We would
oh,
embarrass him. He wouldn't last
run
more than 30 seconds.
we'd run laps around him because there's no teleprompter. He doesn't have a production assistant telling him what to say.
Well, that and his little smug, all that bull he does, it wouldn't work because we'd be like, "You're not going to
Right.
answer? Oh, you're not going to answer? You don't have anything to say?" And so I think to your point, you nailed it a minute ago, which is they want to be able to set the Overton window of the opinions that they want, and then kind of force everything through there. So if it's CNN, you have one Republican who's kind of a moderate Republican, 4 Democrats. You bring on the Republican, the 4 Democrats pound on him or her, and then vice versa for Fox News, right? And so that's kind of the model. Whereas here, to your point, my wife helps me book podcast guests, and so we're going through looking for guests and stuff. And she goes, "What do you think about this person?" I'm like, I don't really care. I mean, I have my own opinions. I have my beliefs on politics, philosophy, religion, business, but I don't really care for the podcast. I want interesting content. I want people who are willing to have conversations about things, and they're not going to get all upset and cry. And I'm not rude to my guests, so come and talk. I don't
How do
think
you
they're interested in that.